Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you to our sophomore class, our Atlanta International School class of 2021. You guys can take your seats. Please give them a round of applause. So when you have 30 teenagers carrying what are in effect very long spears into a room full of people, sometimes it's a moment of no small anxiety, but they did a fantastic job. Those 30 flags represent the countries of citizenship of our 83 graduates of the class of 2019. And on the sides of the sanctuary there, you can see 20 additional flags of which members of our class have distinct affinity or heritage to and from. Just take a moment to allow our sophomores to take our seats. And our graduates to assemble. One day, he too will be a graduate. Ladies and gentlemen, please can you remain seated as we begin the processional for the Atlanta International School class of 2019. Welcome to the graduation ceremony for the class of 2019 at Atlanta International School.
Atlanta International School.
Bienvenue à la cérémonie de graduation de la classe 2019 de l'École internationale d'Atlanta.
Herzlich willkommen zur Abschlussfeier der Klasse 2019 Atlanta Internationale Schule.
সুস্বাগতম এই 2019 অ্যাটলান্টা ইন্টারন্যাশনাল স্কুলের স্নাতক উৎসবে আসার জন্য।
欢迎各位来宾参加亚特兰大国际学校2019年毕业典礼。
Sejam bem-vindos à graduação 2019 da Escola Internacional de Atlanta.
Bine ați venit la ceremonia de graduare a clasei anului 2019.
Bienvenidos a la ceremonia de graduación del Colegio Internacional de Atlanta de la clase 2019.
Atlanta Xalqaro maktabining 2019-yilgi bitiruv marosimiga xush kelibsiz.
Sabina. What a wonderful day this is. Good afternoon and welcome to all of you. Welcome to our soon-to-be international school class of 2019. Welcome to all of our students who are here, our faculty, our staff, our families, our board of trustees, our alumni, and all of the friends of AIS here today. We come together to celebrate these young men and women representing 30 nations. This is the 33rd year anniversary of Atlanta International School, and this is our 28th graduation ceremony. I have to get that right because our founding board chair is sitting in the front row and he keeps account. At the end of Honors Assembly yesterday, we rang the school bell 83 times to celebrate these 83 graduates as a symbol of their voice in the world. The voices of the class of 2019 will ring loud and clear as they soon join our alumni. Today they become part of this AIS alumni family spread out around our world. An ever-growing family totaling over 1,500 voices strong that believes in building a better world, an intentionally more inclusive and more peaceful world. Class of 2019, I'm going to turn it now to face them, so please forgive me. Class of 2019, you guys are the courageous leaders who are going to shape our world for the better. And how do I know this? Because I've seen you living this for years inside and outside Atlanta International School on your journey to become you. You took a huge step in becoming you when you moved into double digits in age, and then you transitioned from primary school to secondary school. Did you know, moms and dads, that the moral and ethical framework of our young people are pretty fixed by the time they get into secondary school from a psychological point of view? Damon, in his book, The Moral Child, tells us that it would take a fairly significant trauma or event to shift a young person's ethical and moral framework once they get into secondary school. So thank you, moms and dads, for what you did to get them ready for secondary school, and thank you to our primary school colleagues for what you guys did to get them ready for secondary school. But the shaping of you into the you that's on stage with me right now, that's happened these past 7 years of secondary school. You filled your mind with new ideas and kept getting hungrier for more. You railed and you wrestled and got really frustrated with TOK. You binged on new philosophies. You tried on new personalities. You tried on new hairstyles. And this is where my joke gets ruined, because from yesterday he shaved it off, Ben Loyal. I was about to say you tried on new beards, but that joke doesn't work anymore. You faced love and disappointment. You faced insecurity, uncertainty, and doubt. And yet you kept going. Otherwise, you wouldn't be here now. You grew away from the primary school you, through that roller coaster you that was middle school, to the you that's about to graduate. Wow, look back. What a journey that's been. William Damon is the director of the Stanford Center on Adolescence. And so, Yanni, when you get there, I want you to talk to him, because we want him to come and talk to AIS for free. He's been a leader in the field of developmental psychology, and last year was named one of the 50 most influential psychologists in our world today. His recent work and his books describe the later stages of adolescence, those later teen years going into early 20s where you all are now. He says this must become a path to purpose. He tells us that our young people must find those elevated, aspirational goals, the things that you guys are really passionate about, and then pursue those relentlessly, no matter what people are telling and saying about you or around you or to you. This leads to a life of purpose, a life well lived, instead of the short horizons, quick fix thinking that we see in so much of today's society, a thinking that seems to foster cynicism and anxiety rather than inspiration and optimism. And this is not a new theory. Carl Rogers described much of this in the 1960s in a classic series of papers all about on becoming a person. At the heart of Rogers' work was the view that life is a flowing process. The fulfilled person, he believed, should come to accept themselves as a stream of becoming, not a finished product. The mistake that people make, he said, is to try to control all aspects of their experience, resulting in developing a personality that at the end of the day is just not you, because it's not grounded in reality. What is critical on your journey is being true to who you really are, being true to yourself, being authentically and really you. This is hard to do. Based on what's happening in the world around us, it does seem to be getting harder. Why, for example, would otherwise successful people, celebrities and CEOs, bribe and cheat to get their kids into college? Heidi Stevens wrote a piece in the Chicago Tribune in March in response to this unfolding cheating scandal. What resonated with me was that she spoke about what sort of human you want to be. She said college doesn't define you. College doesn't shape you. College takes the high school you and molds it into a more grown-up you. But the key component in all of this is you, your ideas, your work, your voice. You bring all of those things to college, and college really helps you figure out what to do with them. So what you bring, who you are when you get there, who you are when you leave college. Members of the class of 2019, in my view, you guys matter most in this equation. Not your parents anymore, not your teachers, not the rest of us here in this room. It's you. If I can give you just one piece of advice from me, it's this. Feel and be free to pursue your passions, to find the courses, the things, the projects, the ideas, and the people that truly make your hearts sing. Do this, and I am confident you will continue to be those courageous leaders who will shape our world for the better. Collectively, as I look at you guys, and I've been looking at some of you since I helped you out of the car in 3rd grade and put the backpack on your back, you've really cultivated this spirited sense of hope in human potential. I have hope in the future. I have hope in you all. And I have hope even if you have shaved off your beard from yesterday to today and ruined my joke. As the school draws to a close this summer, we're honored and delighted to have 2 of our founding board members and parents, Roy and Olga Plout, sitting in the front row, joined by Reed Mizell, who was a founding parent and board member and is now our director, head of admissions. Thank you, Reed, for joining us. Thank you to Christian, our board chair, and our board of trustees, and thanks also to some of our new trustees who are joining us here today. I'm also delighted to welcome back the cornerstone and the legacy of Atlanta International School, our alumni. There are now close to 1,500 of them shaping our world for the better, and they're soon going to be joined by 83 more today, giving us close to 1,600 AIS voices around our world. We welcome back this night and this weekend the AIS classes of 1994, 99, 2004, 2009, and 2014 to celebrate their 5th, 10th, 15th, 20th, and 25th high school reunions. Could you stand if you're a graduate of one of those classes? There we have one there. And at the back. I didn't say you could sit down. Could all of our alumni here today please stand? Thank you. Our AIS alumni create a collective identity of the story of AIS, of what AIS was, what it is, and what it will do for our world. That sense of belonging, connectedness, and family that our AIS alumni share is utterly unique. It's become a powerful network for good in our world. Class of 2019, use it and leverage it. Here are some facts and figures for this fabulous class of 2019 behind me. These 83 students received 352 offers of acceptances from wonderful colleges and universities in the United States and around the world. That's a lot. 93% will be remaining in the United States and 7% heading internationally to England, Germany, Spain, and Canada. The 83 students are matriculating to an astonishing 49 different colleges. This year we have 12 seniors heading off to Georgia Tech, 9 heading off to UGA, and 8 to Georgia State. Colleges and universities continue to recognize our outstanding athletes, and we've got students going to swim at Emory, run track at the University of Kentucky, lead crew at the University of Virginia, and play lacrosse at Chapman University. We've also got several members of the class of 2019 who are going to continue to follow their passion for the arts next year at some of the top art schools in the world. Students attending Parsons, SCAD, the School of Visual Arts in New York. This class of 2019, forgive me. This class of 2018-19 You guys are AIS, but I really want us to think about and to thank some of the folks who helped to get you here. It's at this time I'd like us all to recognize and acknowledge a wonderful group of truly committed, passionate, vocational educators, our faculty, who have helped to guide these young people to this point in their lives. Please join me in congratulating and thanking our faculty. So the ceremony today marks an important milestone for our class of 2019. Interestingly enough, this is a record-breaking class in another way as well. 36 of the students here are lifers. They've been at AIS for 12, 13, or 14 years. This is a record. 43% of the class of 2019 are lifers of Atlanta International School. The lifers are wearing a pin on their stole, on their gown today. We began adding the lifer pin 4 years ago in recognition of the 30th anniversary of our school. We shared some of their earliest report card comments from their primary school teachers with them at lunch on Senior Today. And several of those faculty are here with us again in the audience and to help pin the pins on our lifers. But the lifers are just 43% of the class of 2019. So how do we build a class here at AIS? Will all of those who joined the school in 4K please stand and remain standing? If you joined in 5K, please stand. If you joined in grade 1, please stand. In grade 2, please stand. In grade 3, please stand. In grade 4, please stand. In grade 5, please stand. In grade 6, please stand. In grade 7, please stand. In grade 8, please stand. In grade 9, please stand. In grade 10, please stand. In grade 11, please stand. Ladies and gentlemen, students and alumni, this is the Atlanta International School Class of 2019.
Hello, everyone. Hi. It's kind of quiet right now. Okay, so I wanted to start off my speech with a little audience participation, so welcome, everyone. Now, how is everyone doing, really? How are we all doing? Now, a quick shout out to the parents. Parents, how do you feel that you will never have to pay another tuition check to AIS? I know y'all have to be excited. And students, no more IB exams. And teachers, you survived 2 years with this class. That's commendable. Well, I wanted to start off by saying my name is Christian, and you may not know me, but if you've been within a 4-mile radius of my mother, then you definitely know where I'm going to college. And wow, it looks like this is the first time that everybody in our grade has been present and on time for something in at least a decade, myself included. So, with that being said, I think it's necessary that we do an obligatory chant for the best class in AIS history. You guys ready? It's our time! All right, so now that we got all that out of the way, we can start with the speech. So when I first thought of giving a graduation speech, I really wasn't sure what angle to take. Would I give a nostalgic and inspirational speech and then have to fake cry in front of all these people? Or would I try to give a funny speech and only have a few grandmothers laughing at my jokes out of pity? But it was honestly a tough decision, but after doing some soul searching, it finally hit me. I remembered I'm a lifer, as you see from this beautiful pin right here. Lifers, can we make some noise? So, if you're not familiar with AIS lingo, I will give you the rundown really quickly. There's non-contact blocks, which are basically an excuse for every student to run as far away from campus as possible. There's CAS, DP, IA, IOC, IOP, EE, PP, MYP, and these acronyms are pretty much the IB program's way of saying, I'll give you something to cry about. And finally, we have lifers, the ridiculously exclusive cult of children who have been at AIS since the tender age of 4, spending their entire educational career here. So lucky for me, I was privileged enough to go through all 14 years at AIS, and it has taught me so much. Now, I would say that I grew as a person, but that would be a lie because everyone here knows I've been looking like a 35-year-old since 2nd grade. Now, as seniors, everything has come and gone for us. The crush that every girl had on Nick Goody, the embarrassing Instagram names, Ask FM accounts, and acne of middle school, and the horrors of suffering through design class. But one thing has stayed around lurking in the shadows, the IB learner profile. So if any of you remember, it's a collection of favorable traits that the IB claims to instill in its students to cover up the trauma it inflicts upon them. And I'm actually quite a fan. I think that the illustrious class of 2019 embodies every single trait of this learner profile. So for inquirers, the IB states that its students nurture their curiosity, developing skills for inquiry and research. A perfect example of this is not a science IA, but it was when the junior boys in Unicoi conducted a noteworthy experiment. How would jumping off of a 15-foot balcony onto an old wooden bed turn out? Well, the bed was destroyed, but the only consequence was the old woman in the room next to us yelling at us, so I consider that a win. And for risk takers, they're brave and approach unfamiliar situations with courage. And the most perfect example of this is the young visionary, Valentin Stelea, who pantsed Rob in front of the whole grade and kept that a secret for 4 years. And reflective learners are those who can give thoughtful consideration to their own learning experience. And nothing is a better example of this than the dedicated members of our econ class, Mohammed, Pablo, and Lucas, who counted every single one of Mr. Padula's jokes, tallying it to over 500, but saying only 42 were good. We love you, Mr. Padula. But one thing that I was taught throughout my time here was that it was my duty to be myself unapologetically. And if that was all that I could bring to the table, that was enough. This school made me realize that my goofy, wild, nerdy, ambitious, black, Southside self was enough, and every one of you should leave here knowing that you are enough. You all taught me that in a room full of people, I should want myself first. I've come across some of the most brilliant, accepting, caring, and phenomenal people. And I know that whatever this grade ends up doing, it will be a huge success. So as we move on, we need to remember that this journey is our own. And we need to move at our own pace and become the best version of ourselves that we can be. And remember, your authenticity will be much more appreciated than your relatability. Remember the little things that made AIS such a welcoming and special place, and try to make wherever you go a safe haven for all. Keep in mind that for some of us, higher education was not built for us. The workforce was not built for us, and this world was not built for us, but that in no way means that those spaces are not something that we can thrive in. The only constant thing in this world is change, and if anyone is equipped to handle that change, it's this group of open-minded, reflective, caring, knowledgeable, and balanced inquirers behind me. Those are learner profile words. I had to throw them in. At the end of the day, that learner profile stuff is real. Our learning at AIS didn't exist inside a vacuum because we were molded to be change makers in the world that we're about to step into. The class of 2019 will not sit idly by and watch as things need to be done. We're gonna be a force, and a force for equity, equality, change, and love. Each and every member of this class has a purpose and a passion, and whether you know them yet or not, just know that there's a place for you in this world. Now, while we all love Mr. Padula's infamous fraction hands, we should remember the lessons he taught us on creating an equitable society. And while we all love Mr. Lapish's favorite word, consolidate, we should remember learning about the acidification of our oceans and the genetic modification that is becoming increasingly popular in our demand-driven society. While we all dreaded the test that Ms. Gerchoyu made, we should all remember the necessary problem-solving skills as we move into a global setting with a lot of problems that need solving. It is our time to be everything that our teachers taught us to be our ancestors' wildest dreams, and to be this world's saviors. It is our time to do the unthinkable and rise to new heights that we have never imagined before. So to the class of 2019, I leave you with this. As you make your way through this world, your actions should speak so loud that people can't even hear what you're saying. Find your passion, find your love, find your happy place, and let it manifest in every aspect of your being and in every aspect of your life. And let it spread to others around you by empowering them and giving back the way that those that came before us gave back to us. Our world is at a turning point. We have 11 years before the effects of climate change are irreversible. I know y'all heard that. Civil rights are being infringed on left and right, and people are suffering everywhere. So dare I ask, what side of history do you want to go down on? All in all, our class is the toughest act to follow in AIS history. I know y'all agree. I know y'all agree. All right. And I'm honored to have been a part of it since 4K, the very beginning. So it's been a great ride, and I cannot wait to hear about the mark that each and every one of you makes on our world. And to finish it off, I just have one thing to say. It's our time! Oh, what night! It's our time! Oh, what night! It's our time! Oh, what night!
Forget, regret, or life is yours to miss. No other road, no other way, no day but today. There's only us, only tonight. We must let go
To all of the teachers, students, faculty, and family members, I extend my sincere welcome and gratitude to you. My name is Natalie Jordan, and the speech that I will be delivering today revolves around one audience member in particular, who is probably just as excited to be attending as I am to be speaking to you. I'm talking about my sister, up there, Isabel Jordan, who stood on this same graduation stage just 2 years ago. You all probably know my sister from her legendary performances in the Atlanta International School Theater Department, wholeheartedly portraying anybody, from the whimsical Queen of Hearts in Wonderland to the mischievous Mrs. Lovett in a dark barbershop on Fleet Street. In her work on stage then and now, she has exemplified courage, ambition, and a ridiculous amount of creativity. And as her little sister and friend, I cannot be more proud. There is one performance of hers, however, that shines brighter than the most, the one that I feel was brought to life the best. Isabel's portrayal of Mary Poppins was one that left me in awe, but there was one particular song that has had a lasting impression on me, the song that concluded the show and that will conclude our high school careers. The song, Anything Can Happen If You Let It, spreads a message fitting for this graduation speech. I believe these small 7 words capture all of the emotions of excitement and optimism we are feeling today. We have dedicated ourselves to the Atlanta International School for what may seem like a lifetime, and now we close this chapter and assume new roles on new stages in new places all across the world. Scary, undoubtedly, but thrilling, liberating, and rewarding all at once, since as soon as we walk out these doors, anything can happen if we let it. Mary Poppins went on to teach us to stretch our minds beyond fantastic, because our dreams are made of strong elastic. Time and time again, I have seen the 82 people standing behind me do just this. We have innovated, accomplished, and conquered obstacles we may have once thought to be insurmountable in the name of our unique passions. We have known no limits, and our refusal to let anyone define what our successes look like has required a resilience that will take us very far in the future. In conclusion, I hope that everyone in this room understands the power of these 7 words. Anything can happen if you let it. Once we leave this big stage, we will find that our lives and the great big world of opportunity have been patiently waiting to start. And as Miss Poppins taught us, once you've started living life, you just can't get enough. Now, us 83 individuals will take our final bows, so hang on to your parasols and your dancing penguins too, as we allow anything and everything to happen. Thank you.
Broken down and tired of living life on a merry-go-round, but you can find the fighter, and I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out and move mountains. We gon' walk it out and move mountains. And I'll rise up, rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up, rise like the waves. I'll rise up in spite of the ache. I'll rise up and I'll do it 1,000 times again. All we need is hope, and for that we have each other, and for that we have each other. We will rise 1,000 times again. I'll rise up rise like the day. I will rise up in spite of the ache. I will rise 1,000,000 times again. And I'll rise up, rise like the waves. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up, and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, and for you, for you, and for you, for you,
Thank you for the music, and thank you, Travis, for making us all cry. Mr. Fisher, Mr. Glass, members of the Board of Trustees, graduands, parents and friends, good afternoon. I'm going to make a change for once in my life. It's going to feel real good, going to make a difference, going to make it right. I'm starting with the man in the mirror. I'm asking him to change his ways, and no message could have been any clearer. If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and then make a change. Those of you that are required to sit through my graduation speeches year on year may have noticed that I like to include a song lyric at the start. I've quoted Prince, Hannah Branch, Nina Simone, and now the king of pop, Michael Jackson. Every end presents a new beginning, and as we focus on the culmination and climax of our time at Atlanta International School, we may look at our next step and also reflect, like the man in the mirror, back on when we began here and how we have grown in the interim. And the young people who are behind me, some of whom, as we've heard, have attended AIS for most of their lives, and others who have joined us more recently, have certainly grown physically, academically, socially, and emotionally. And as they sit in front of you, it's hard to realize the depth of talent contained in this class. The achievements of the young leaders behind me are quite impressive. Welcome again to our alumni who are with us today in the audience. These 83 young people will join your ranks very shortly and further strengthen the body of graduates of AIS who go on to college and impress their professors, who make a difference in their professions, and who commit to making a change. This class of graduates, as Mr. Glass said, will attend colleges and universities across the United States and Canada and in Europe. The most popular destinations not so far away, Georgia Tech, UGA, and Georgia State. As you heard, we have 4 students pursuing sports at college, and I will be amazed if others do not continue their passion for theatre, music, robotics, or mock trial. Because this is a talented class. Do you need an incredible pianist who can hold her own at any recital? There is one here. Do you want to meet a swimmer who can sprint in the pool at times very, very close to Olympic qualifying standard? I can introduce you to him. Do you want to meet a Gates Scholarship recipient who was offered a place at Harvard, and University of Pennsylvania, and MIT, and Yale, and Stanford? Yes, I'm proud to know him too. Apparently, this year, the 4 hardest colleges in the US to get into are Harvard, Stanford, Caltech, and Yale, in that order. And this year, we had 4 students offered places across Harvard, Stanford, and Yale. Nobody applied to Caltech, otherwise we would have done. Georgia Tech continues to love our students when they enroll there because they are well prepared for the rigors of college after the excellent instruction that they have received here and the demands of the IB diploma. Of course, our students also bring with them skills learned from co-curricular activities, such as robotics. And incidentally, we qualified once again for the World Championships this year. And the ability, our students' ability, to argue their point of view cogently and thoughtfully. This is a talented class, and it is a hard-working class. Remember that success is not always, and in fact, rarely, achieved at the first attempt. We are proud of those that have failed. those that have failed and failed again at something, but had the perseverance to pick themselves up and try again and to deserve to be here today to receive their diploma. This is one of the hallmarks of this great school. We encourage determination and perseverance, and we will support our students as they falter along the way. The class of 2019 was well guided over the past 2 years by their head of year, whom I often call MJ in homage to Michael Jackson, but apparently it really stands for Mama Jones. Of course, our students are most fortunate to be taught and influenced by many hardworking, thoughtful teachers and counsellors, and I want to take this opportunity to recognise everything that they have done for the class of 2019 over the years. Thank you. I'd also like to congratulate Kevin Ornaby, who will be standing here in this place in a year's time. I cannot think of anyone to whom I would rather be handing the role of leading this wonderful school with the responsibility of the educational lives of over 700 amazing young people and the professional lives of 100 dedicated educators. Kevin has won many admirers in his leadership of the middle school, and I know that he will steer this ship brilliantly. And Kevin, trust me, the hardest part of the job is writing this speech. Everything else is a breeze. And my piece of advice for you there is, wear a kilt. Nobody pays any attention to what you say. Hey, Miles. Poor Miles. And for those of you who are out there worrying about Kevin wearing a kilt and possible cultural appropriation, well, cultural appropriation is defined as the unacknowledged or inappropriate adoption of the customs, practices, ideas, etc., of one people or society by members of another and typically more dominant people or society. It's a grey area between what is celebration and what is appropriation. And while the English may think they're more dominant, just as in Game of Thrones, even when we bend the knee to a queen across 4 kingdoms, the North remains fiercely independent. So, my friend Kevin, you have my approval as member of the House Mackenzie, 987th of my name, father of 2 fire-breathing dragons, to wear the kilt. Cultural appropriation is just one of those phrases that I've learned during my time here. I've learned many more. To make myself understood, I have to use words like candy, pacifier, and drugstore instead of sweet, dummy chemist, because otherwise people think I'm talking about Mr. Locke. Not really. Mr. Locke is far from a dummy and has been helping young people love that smelly science of chemistry for many, many years. Another word I have learned in my time in the United States has been entitled. Before the past 5 years, I only ever heard the word entitled in the phrase, everyone is entitled to their opinion, which is an interesting statement in itself. Sure, we're all entitled to think what we want. However, if we want our opinion to be listened to, it needs to be backed up because we have expertise and knowledge of the field, and we can cite evidence rather than rely on fake news. That is what we teach our students, and one reason why those colleges that I talked about are so impressed by our graduates. Anyway, back to the word entitled. According to the dictionary, it means feeling that you have the right to do or have what you want without having to work for it, or deserve it just because of who you are. I've heard it said about students, about teachers, about parents, and of course about school administrators in the past year. I am sure that not one of us wants to be described that way. So when we think to ourselves, I deserve this, ask, why do I think that? As well as some new vocabulary, I've learned much about this large, diverse country that has sent people to the moon, produced artists like Prince and Beyoncé, sportsmen like Tiger Woods, and presidents like Barack Obama. I wonder if the first thing you noticed about the 4 people I just listed is that they're all people of colour. Because that's something else I've learned. This country, and let's face it, the US is not alone in this, the ongoing struggle with race. 56 years ago, before most of the people in this room were born, even before Mr. Glass was born, Dr. King made his famous speech where he said, "I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the colour of their skin, but by the content of their character." How should we interpret that statement? We're all entitled to our opinion. Would Dr. King have wanted us to completely ignore race in a colour-blind society? Or maybe to consider race as one of many factors about a person? Bernice King doubts her father would seek to ignore differences. She said, when he talked about the beloved community, he talked about everyone bringing their gifts, their talents, their cultural experiences. We live in a society where we may have differences, but of course, we learn to celebrate those differences. So my opinion, to which I'm entitled, maybe, is that it's time for the US to be a world leader again, based on the content of its collective character. And when I think that there are young people like the ones graduating here today who will go on to influence society, I feel a new hope that there will be a return of the Jedi and that the lives of our school children will be more important than lethal toys. We will value the content of people's characters more than what they look like, and we will collectively take responsibility for our environment. So, graduates, as you leave this imperfect, but also incredible and intercultural environment that is Atlanta International School, and go out there into that big, bad world, I ask that you do 3 things. Ask yourself, am I feeling entitled? And if so, why? Celebrate differences and leave things better than you found them. I would now like to invite Mr. Glass, Mr. Fisher, and Ms. Tyler to the stage. As head of secondary school, I am proud of the class of 2019, of all that they have achieved so far, and of all that they will go on to do to make our world a better place. Mr. Glass, Mr. Fisher, and members of the Board of Trustees, it is my pleasure to certify that all 83 members of the class of 2019 have met the requirements to walk across this stage and receive the diploma from Atlanta International School. Thank you.
Well, let's get started. Miles Gordon Abdul Mateen. Katie Rose Keats. Emma Nemeti Chipkiss. Lila Ashraf. Daniela Isabel Lopez Colon. Sanjana Balusu. Farman Nuhana. Sophie Cronin. Camille Lucia Williams. Alice Ponte. Michelle Goodall. Lily Turner. Claudia Baruchim. Julia Chen. Chair behind you. You ready? Perry Dinnerman. Natalie Pearson Gabardella. Yanni Tan. Kira Israelite. Caroline Ann Morse. Ariane Ivanye. Katarina Mia Servi. Rachel Ann Sorelius. Corinne Valeri. Kyla Rendell. Sofía Sarmiento Yugaros. Deanna Ramirez Lander. Niall Frederica Ziegler. Emilia Kuhn. Nadira Herbert Bay. Maya Ilana Kasper Sokolov. Casey Ray Langer. Adriana Lucia Danzig. Natalie Pearl Jordan. Sabina Yafonyeva. Amanda Rose Dooley Boland. Sophia Edizade. Padan Sullivan. Max Frederick Brown. Felix Weisenberger. Eugenio Mendez. Pablo Juan Fonseca. Jocelyn Vivian Hahn. Lisa Nuchenda. Stella Storino. Megan Gamble. Annie Bender. Sarah Ingle. Adrian Raleigh. Isabella Guarnizo Proyano. Skylar Mackenzie Lupton Smith. Corinne Jean Dotz. Grace Elizabeth Hawkins. Alexander Titian. Rui Amaru Tobar Mosquera. Uam Asa Wilson. Lena Charlotte Nadell. Andres Rivera. Edward Spinks. Tate Douglas Foster. Lily Kozlowski. Josh Pablo Patel. Francisco Perella Hofield. Matthew Mills. Justin Chow. Nicholas Gowdy. Pedro Albuquerque Gomez. Lucas Ballman. Gigi Marie Robinson. Benjamin Loneal. Valentine Stalia. Travis Lavelle Harper II. Juliette Morel. Oliver Fa. Mitchner Dubas Anthony. Mohammed Wael Ahmed Salama. Robert Lawrence. William Noah Jernigan. Hugo Louis Armand Levis. Andrew Joseph Lawrence. Chad Norbent. Christian Malachi Porter. Robert Grattan Smith. Raymond Wilson. Raymond is the 1,581st graduate from Atlanta International School. So, at this time, ladies and gentlemen, class of 2019, you may now turn your tassels.
thinking, does she know that she'll be leaving for the city on a cold, dark night? And on the day they ran, did she dream of endless summer? Did her mother have a plan? Or did they just go? Did somebody sit her down and say, Claudia, get ready to leave behind everything you know? Everything I know. What do I know? In this folder, there is a picture from my high school graduation with a program mint condition and a star beside my name. Here's a picture of my parents as I left for California. She saved everything we gave her, every little scrap of paper, and our lives are in these boxes while the woman who held us is gone. But we go on, we grow so tight, Abuela. If you're up there, I'll make you proud of everything I know. Thank you for everything I know.
Wow. Wow. So thank you to Mrs. Stabler, Laurie Jones, and our counselors, Miss Tyler, all of the faculty and staff who helped put our graduation ceremony together today. A huge thank you to all of our speakers and all of our performers. Again, wow. Class of 2019, this is your first official invitation. You are now invited to the 2019-20 Alumni Series of Reunions, and you're invited to the soccer match that we have at the back-to-school picnic, where our varsity team routinely defeats all of those perfidious alumni. During the holiday season, the first big alumni is hosted here in Atlanta. So please, class of 2019, make sure that we have your emails, the college emails that you're going to, so we can invite you to everything back here on campus and in the cities that we go to around the world. Thank you to Christian Fisher, Board Chair, all of our trustees that are here today, and thank you to our faculty and staff. I would like also at this moment to pay a huge tribute. Can you please put your hand up if you are a proud parent of one of our class of 2019? And as the great Dr. Seuss said, oh, the places they will go thanks to you guys. I would also like to take a moment just to say a huge thank you to Sandy McKenzie. In case you didn't know, he was the man in the kilt up here on the stage a few minutes ago. Sandy's led our secondary school for the past 5 years, and he heads off now to be director of the International School of Copenhagen, interestingly enough, taking over as director from Jennifer Wayburn, who was middle school principal here at AIS a few years ago. So Sandy, thank you for all you have done for our students and for our school, and we wish you all the best in Copenhagen. I ask everybody in the sanctuary please to remain seated until the recessional of our class of 2019, our faculty, staff, and board of trustees. Once the recessional is over, please join us for the reception afterwards in the adjoining building. Now is one of those photo moments, so you may want to get your cameras ready. I'm going to get out of the way. Ladies and gentlemen, I give you the Atlanta International School Class of 2019.